But let's talk about some of these other, performances out there. Evans Chebet. I mean, how good is he? He's won Boston, New York, and Boston in a row. He's run 203 flat.
6 of his last 7 marathons are wins. And yeah, like you said, that includes 3 straight majors and Valencia in 2020, which was a stacked field. I'll put it to you guys. Who's the best marathoner in the world right now?
That's easy, John. Chebet.
It's easy. It's an easy decision for you.
I guess Kipchoge's won 6 or 7. Yes, that's how it works. If you race head to head and you lose, and the other guy has a comparable record. I guess he hasn't run the world record, but 6 or 7 big wins. Oh, wait, I thought that was impossible. We just said that's not possible, essentially. So, to me, it's Chebet. If they raced again, I'd be fascinated.
If they had raced in London this week instead of Boston on Monday, who do you think wins?
Kipchoge. I mean, I still think you bet Kipchoge before the race. Now that he lost, it changes the calculus a bit. I mean, Kipchoge, in hindsight, right, it's very easy that Kipchoge took a very big risk going to Boston. It's the most unique of the majors. It's more unique than New York. Would you guys agree? The course, it's harder to win? Or it's different, more...
I think it is the most... It presents the most challenges of any majors. I think New York is not that much easier.
Well, look, it's more. The course is much more variable because there's a lot of downhill at the beginning, then up and then down. But the big variable in Boston that you don't get as much in New York is the weather. It could be literally 90 degrees in Boston. It was 90 degrees like 2 days before. It could be snowing, sleeting. There could be a massive headwind. There could be a tiny headwind like there was yesterday. Or as John made a great point today, if only they'd run the damn race today, there's a perfect all-day west-southwest tailwind of like 15, 16 miles an hour, gust to 33. They probably would have broken too. I'm dead serious. If Kipchoge goes out there and sets that pace, we might have seen a sub 2. Because what Chebet did was amazing. I mean, 205, what was the actual time, John?
205.54.
Okay, so, we thought the win, John Kellogg thought it was going to be 2 minutes. So that's a 203 something in still conditions. Well, if you give him a tailwind, not sure if it's going to be quite sub 2, but it would be close. But it's interesting because the other big names did come through. Chebet wins. The other 203 flat guy gets second. And then Benson Caputo, who's won in the past, gets third.
Yeah, but all those guys had done well in Boston in the past. That's the one thing that's different from them. And I say Evans Chebet's the best marathoner in the world. Well, I mean, 2 of those wins are Boston. So maybe he's just really good at these unique courses. He might get smoked on a pancake flat race versus Kipchoge.
Well, he ran 203 flat in Valencia in 2020. I don't think, but here's the thing. It's difficult, well, like you said, because it's kind of like clay court and grass court in tennis. There are different types of marathons that play to different people's strengths. And because you're only running 1 or 2 a year, I mean, Chebet, he wins 3 straight of these technical hilly marathons. Now we're like, oh, can he do it on the flat course? Same thing with Kipchoge. He wins on flat courses. We say, can we do it on the hilly course? Like, it's very hard to prove yourself as the clear number 1 overall when it's all these different kinds of courses and you're only racing infrequently. I think, yes, if I had to pick the world's best marathoner right now, I would say Chebet. His recent resume is amazing and he just beat Kipchoge head to head, but it's not easy. And that doesn't mean that they couldn't both show up in Berlin this fall and Kipchoge would lay the smackdown. That could very well happen. It's, you're only as good as you, like the marathon things can change so quickly because we get so few data points.
But Boston's, it's just so much fun. Like, we've got to stop these rabbit races. Chicago, Berlin, London, they're all the same. Pancake, flat, boring. I know the mass person wants to get a PR run a flat course, and everyone in the world's obsessed with time. But since we're never going to have it, like, since Kipchoge's 1:59.40 is so far out there, like, I don't know. Now I guess maybe we're going to have people trying to break the 2 flat legitimately. But, I mean, admittedly I'm biased because I'm sitting next to Tom Durden, who literally wrote a book on the Boston Marathon. But he's 20 or 30 years older than us. He's talking about, like we were just scuttlebutting, like how to make the sport more popular, how do you sell this to the public? He was talking about team stuff. I'm like, oh, we've tried all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. He was saying like we could have teams and the prize money goes to the teams. But, he's biased towards Boston, but I'm like, this race is just so much more. He used the same analogy that I use. There's no fumbles, there's no interceptions in running. There's no fluke goals.